Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday morning to you, and welcome back to Morning Musings. Hey, don't forget, time's almost up. Go to my website, donkpreston.com, BibleProphecy.com. Regularly, $18.95, July 2020 special, ending in just a couple of days, $15.95 postpaid. Were Jesus' apostles confused? Okay, we are looking at, I want to continue now. We spent a good bit of time on the days of Noah, the revelation of the Son of Man, the comparison with Luke chapter 17. So I want to move on now into the text of Matthew chapter 24 and just discuss ever so briefly the idea of the rapture. I don't have to tell you that the doctrine of the rapture is just extremely popular. We are told, well, we're living in the last days. And on the one hand, it's amazing. On the one hand, we are told that the rapture is a signless event. And yet Jesus in Matthew chapter 24 gave signs. Well, okay. What are they supposed to watch for as Jesus goes ahead and tells his apostles in verse 42, "Watch therefore, for you do not know the hour in which your master will come." What are they supposed to watch for if there's nothing to watch for in regard to the rapture? Okay? But the idea is, of course, in the rapture doctrine invented by MacDonald, and Darby and all of those, is that at some given point of time, and you have to understand something here, folks. This is very, very critical to understand. The entire rapture doctrine is based upon the view that Daniel chapter 9, 24 and following gave a time frame, a narrative, a time chart, if you please, for the establishment of the kingdom of God. Jesus came at just the right time to fulfill the 70th week of Daniel. He offered the Jews the kingdom, but they rejected it. As a result of the Jewish rejection of the kingdom, God withdrew the kingdom offer from the Jews. As Thomas Ice says in the book End Times Controversy, as a result of that Jewish rebellion, disbelief, and rejection of the kingdom, it made it, quote, impossible, unquote, that's his word, not mine, for God to establish the kingdom. Therefore, that kingdom offer was withdrawn, and God established the church instead. God is no longer dealing with Israel during the Christian age, during the church age. However, at some given point of time in the future, supposedly very, very soon, God is going to rapture the church, remove her from the world, take her to heaven, and then restore his relationship with Israel. Well, unfortunately, Israel apostatizes very quickly. They sign a peace treaty with the man of sin who allows them to build a temple in Jerusalem. We're never told exactly how that is going to work. But anyway, he breaks that peace treaty. You have the Great Tribulation. Israel stands on the cusp of destruction. They cry out to the Lord for deliverance. And the second coming occurs, and the millennium ensues with the Messianic temple. The key point here is to understand that in the dispensational, premillennial view of eschatology, the church was an afterthought. Thomas Ice, Tim LaHaye, Arnold Fruchtenbaum, John Walvoord, Dwight Pentecost all tell us that the church was not foretold anywhere in the Old Testament. It was an unknown mystery. Well, if the church was not foretold anywhere in the Old Testament, that should mean that, guess what? The rapture was not foretold anywhere in the Old Testament. Because, after all, if you got an unforeseen, unforetold, unpredicted entity such as the church, then why do you need a prediction of the rapture and removal of the church from the earth. Why would you have a prediction of the removal of that which is not predicted? You see, it makes no sense. But the rapture ostensibly removes the church from the earth. The church is not on earth at the time of the second coming of Christ, by the way. Oh, in my little book, In Flaming Fire, which you can order from my website, but in my book, In Flaming Fire, I demonstrate and I prove, after all, every dispensationalist that I'm aware of takes 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 as a second coming passage. Yet 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, according to every dispensational writer I've ever read, posits 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 as the second coming. But the second coming of 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 delivers the church from persecution. Well, how does the second coming deliver the church from persecution if the church is not on earth being persecuted at the time of the second coming? Okay, very quickly. The rapture is seen as a deliverance, and in the tribulation rapture view, boy, that's hard to say, isn't it? Pre-trib rapture view, the church is raptured prior to the Great Tribulation. In other words, the rapture is a huge blessing. Well, let's look at this. In Matthew chapter 24, let me just begin reading with verse 38. As in the days before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. Now, this, we're told, proves there's no signs. But once again, remember, there were signs of the flood. There's that humongous ark. Noah's building the ark. Okay. And they did not know, they who did not know. Well, it certainly cannot be speaking of Noah and his family. They did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Now, if the taking away of those in the days of Noah was a really, really bad thing, they were taken away by the flood. They did not know until the flood came and took them all away. That taking away was a very negative thing. Well, that obviously can't be describing the rapture then, can it, in the dispensational paradigm? And now notice verse 2. Then 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken. Well, you see, he's continuing his discussion of the taking away as it was in the days of Noah. Therefore, if 2 men are in the field and one is taken, the other is left, then the one taken is not going to heaven. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken, the other left. Once again, in the continuation of the removal, as in the days of the flood, this is not good news. And by the way, this language of some being taken and some left, is taken directly from the Hebraic world, the ancient world, in times of warfare and invasion. In 2 Kings chapter 24 and verse 13 and 2 Chronicles 36 and 20, at the destruction of Jerusalem at the hands of the Chaldeans, we are told emphatically that they came in and they took away with them to Babylon the wealthiest, the prettiest, the strongest, the wisest, etc., etc. And they left behind the poor, the weak, the sick, etc. Folks, listen, the point here should be very, very clear. Matthew chapter 24, 37 and following is not talking about an end to the Christian age, rapture of the church. Off of the earth, out of harm's way. It is the description of a removal by destruction. Destruction and death. I would say that in the actual context, this rapture is by no means good news. Hey, listen, I've actually wrote 2 books that will be extremely helpful to you. I apologize for not having them on the desk. I'll try to do that in the morning. In Flaming Fire, in which, as I've already stated, I prove without a doubt that the church was to be on earth at the time of the coming of the Lord. That falsifies dispensationalism. Another small book entitled Leaving the Rapture Behind, in which I discuss all of these verses and I demonstrate that the doctrine, the idea of a rapture of any kind, is not good news. It is not good news. Now look, I wish I could offer a free shipping and all this. However, remember, till the end of this month, I am giving discounts on all of my books. And if you order over $10 worth of material, the shipping is free. So go to my website, donkpreston.com. Go to the virtual web store, the Preterist Pilgrim Weekend 2020 virtual web store. Order In Flaming Fire, Leaving the Rapture Behind, and order just another small item or 2 to put it at $10 or over, and it'll be free shipping with discounts. All right? Listen, thank you for joining me for this morning's morning musing. I'll see you on the flip side.